Losing flexibility isn't just part of getting older. That's a myth that keeps too many men over 60 from moving the way they still can. The truth? You can bring it back, and you don't need a gym membership, expensive equipment, or hours of stretching every day. Just 2 simple movements, done at home, can make your body feel looser, lighter, and more capable again. Think about it this way: your muscles and joints are like guitar strings. When you tune them regularly, they respond with smooth, rich sound. But leave them untouched, and they get stiff, lose their tone, and eventually can't play the music they were meant to. Your body works the same way. If you don't give it regular, intentional movement through its full range, it forgets how to bend, twist, and reach without resistance. The result? Tightness when you wake up, stiffness when you stand, and that subtle hesitation before you move, because you're not sure your body will cooperate. The good news is, this isn't permanent. You can tune your body back to the way it's meant to move, and it all starts with 2 targeted movements I'm going to show you today. I'm Dr. Katherine Rocker, a specialist in mobility and joint health for men over 60. For more than 30 years, I've worked with men who thought they had to accept losing flexibility as part of aging. They told me stories about how they used to move freely, bending to pick up a golf ball, twisting to grab a tool off the shelf, stepping over a fence without thinking, and now those same movements feel tight, awkward, or even risky. But here's what I've seen again and again: when you give your muscles, joints, and connective tissues the right kind of movement, your body responds. It relearns its full range of motion, it rebuilds elasticity, and it restores that sense of freedom you thought you'd lost for good. That's why I'm here today, to give you 2 simple, safe movements that can help you restore flexibility right at home, without pain, without guesswork, and without spending hours on the floor stretching. Because after 60, you don't just need to keep moving forward, you need to be able to bend, twist, and turn with confidence. Let me tell you about Frank Miller, a 67-year-old retired electrician from Arizona. Frank was never a gym guy, but he stayed active in his own way, working in his yard, taking short hikes with friends, and doing little repair projects around the house. Over the years, though, he started noticing small changes. It began with something simple, bending down to tie his shoes in the morning. He'd feel a pull in his lower back, and his hips wouldn't quite let him fold forward the way he used to. Then it showed up when he was driving. He realized he couldn't comfortably twist to check his blind spot without straining his neck and shoulders. One afternoon, while unloading groceries, he reached to grab a bag from the back seat and felt a sharp stiffness run across his lower back into his hip. "It's frustrating," he told me, "because I'm not in constant pain, but every little movement feels like my body is saying, 'Careful, you can't do that anymore.'" Frank came to me because he didn't want to keep avoiding movements. He wanted to get back to feeling loose, capable, and confident in his body. And the solution wasn't complicated, it was about retraining his body to move through its full range again. Here's what was happening with Frank, and what happens to almost every man's body if we don't keep flexibility on the priority list after 60. Your muscles, tendons, and ligaments are designed to stretch and glide with every movement. But as we age, the connective tissue starts to lose elasticity. It's a natural process, but it's made worse by long periods of sitting, repetitive one-direction movements, and avoiding certain ranges because they feel tight. Over time, the muscles shorten, the tendons stiffen, and the joints produce less synovial fluid, the natural lubrication that keeps everything moving smoothly. When that happens, you don't just lose comfort, you lose access to your full range of motion. Movements you used to make without thinking, bending, twisting, reaching overhead, now feel limited, awkward, or even unsafe. It's a bit like a door hinge that's never opened fully. If you only swing it halfway for years, the unused part of the hinge rusts and sticks. When you finally try to open it all the way, it resists, or worse, it jams completely. The good news is, your body isn't a rusted hinge. It's living tissue, and it will respond when you ask it to move through its full range again, as long as you do it in a safe, intentional way. And that's exactly what the 2 movements I'm about to show you are designed to do. One of the biggest mistakes I see in men over 60 who are trying to stay active is believing that walking alone will keep their whole body flexible. Don't get me wrong, walking is great for your heart, circulation, and endurance. But it's mostly a forward and back movement. It doesn't take your hips through their full range, it doesn't rotate your spine, and it doesn't open up your shoulders. Another common mistake is avoiding certain movements altogether out of fear, not bending down because your back feels tight, not twisting because your shoulders feel stiff, or sitting for hours because resting feels safer than moving. Here's the problem. When you stop moving a joint through its full range, your body adapts by shortening the muscles and stiffening the connective tissue. In other words, the less you move, the less you can move. It's like leaving an elastic band in a drawer for years. When you finally stretch it, it's brittle and ready to snap. But if you keep it moving regularly, it stays strong and responsive. That's why the key to restoring flexibility isn't just more walking or more rest. It's adding targeted movements that challenge your body to bend, twist, and open safely every day. The 2 movements I gave Frank were simple, safe, and specifically designed to restore flexibility in the hips, spine, and surrounding muscles. Movement 1, Hip Opener Stretch. Why it works. Tight hips are one of the biggest reasons men over 60 lose stride length and feel stiff when bending. This stretch improves hip mobility, reduces lower back pressure, and makes walking and bending easier. How to do it. Sit on the edge of a sturdy chair. Place your right ankle on your left knee, letting your right knee drop gently outward. Keep your back straight and slowly lean forward until you feel a stretch in your hip. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing steadily, then switch sides. Safety tip. Keep movements slow, never force the knee down. Movement 2, Spine Rotation Drill. Why it works. As we age, we lose rotational mobility, making everyday actions like turning to grab something or looking over your shoulder harder. This drill restores spinal flexibility and helps prevent back strain. How to do it. Sit tall in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Cross your arms over your chest. Slowly rotate your upper body to the right as far as comfortable, keeping your hips facing forward. Hold for 2 seconds, return to center, then rotate left. Repeat 5 to 8 times each side. Safety tip. Keep the motion controlled, no sudden twists. These 2 movements take less than 5 minutes, but they target the exact ranges of motion most men lose after 60, making it easier to bend, twist, and reach without hesitation. When Frank started doing them daily, he told me, I didn't realize how much I'd been avoiding certain movements until I could do them again, comfortably. Along with the 2 main flexibility movements, I gave Frank 2 quick add-on exercises to keep his joints loose and improve the way his upper and lower body work together. Support move number 1, Ankle Circles. Why it works. Flexible ankles improve balance, walking stability, and help absorb shock so your knees and hips take less strain. How to do it. Sit or stand near a stable surface for support. Lift 1 foot slightly off the floor. Rotate your ankle in a slow circle 5 times clockwise, then 5 times counterclockwise. Switch feet. Tip. Keep the movement slow and controlled, avoid rushing. Support move number 2, Shoulder Rolls. Why it works. Loosens the upper back and neck, improves posture, and restores overhead reach. How to do it. Sit or stand tall with your arms relaxed at your sides. Roll your shoulders forward in a big, slow circle 5 times. Reverse and roll them backward 5 times. Tip: let your shoulder blades glide smoothly, don't shrug too tightly. These take less than 2 minutes combined, but they keep blood flowing, ease stiffness, and make the 2 core movements even more effective. Frank used to skip warm-ups altogether, but adding these simple drills made his hips and spine feel looser before he even started his main flexibility work. When you combine the 2 core flexibility movements with the quick add-ons, here's the kind of progress you can expect, based on what I saw with Frank. By day 7, you start noticing less stiffness when getting out of bed or standing up from a chair. Movements that used to feel blocked begin to feel smoother, and there's less hesitation when you reach or twist. By day 14, your hips open up, making it easier to bend for shoes, step into a car, or take a longer stride while walking. Your spine feels freer when you turn, checking your blind spot while driving no longer feels like a chore. By day 30, you move with more confidence and fluidity. Daily activities, picking something up from the floor, unloading groceries, even simple things like putting on a jacket, feel natural again. Frank told me, I feel younger in how I move, and I'm not avoiding things anymore just because I think they'll hurt. This isn't about becoming a gymnast, it's about reclaiming the freedom to move through your day without stiffness holding you back. Age doesn't take away your flexibility, stillness does. Your muscles, joints, and connective tissue are living systems. They respond to the signals you give them. If you keep them moving through their full range in safe, controlled ways, they'll stay responsive, supple, and ready for whatever life asks of you. Frank didn't rebuild his flexibility overnight. He did it in minutes a day, with 2 core movements, 2 simple add-ons, and the consistency to show up for himself. Now, he bends, twists, and reaches without the second thought that used to be replaced by hesitation. He doesn't have to brace himself before getting out of a chair, and he's not worried about whether his body will cooperate when he needs it to. So here's my challenge to you: start today. 2 movements, 2 minutes of support drills, that's all it takes to start turning back the clock on stiffness. Because flexibility isn't about touching your toes, it's about living with the freedom to move the way you want, every day for years to come.